something a little bit different for the channel. Bow fishing. You haven't seen anything like this on the channel before. Anything with strings, cables, things like that. To be honest, I haven't seen this thing in several years. But I've owned it probably, this is about a 25-year-old bow. And I figured what better bow to use than for bow fishing than something like this. I'm not going to go out and buy a new one. But why bow fishing? I really don't know. I got a couple buddies that are hardcore into it. They've been bugging me for years about it. Before 3 years ago, I never really heard about bow fishing. I knew people kind of did it, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't really didn't interest me that much, to tell you the truth. But they've been telling me and showing me footage, and you've seen these two guys before on my channel. Tom, Tony, we go way back. So a few years ago, they got into it, had a boat, put some lights on it. I'm not sure if they're running generators, whatever, but they do a lot of night fishing. Most of the stuff they do is night fishing. This year, Tom decided to invest and kind of upgrade the boat, so they've been building the boat all spring. They got a nice platform, custom platform built, and he's got some high pressure sodium lights, generators. Like I say, they kind of pull all-nighters all the time, so you know, I've been hearing about this so much, I thought, man, I have to get into this. It looks like a lot of fun the more I look into it. So this is going to be my setup, and I couldn't really go out with them and try their setup because I'm left-handed, they're not. So, you know, all the lefties out there, you always have to have your own archery equipment. Guns, of course, are different. You know, I shoot all right-handed guns, but anyway, this is the bow I'm going to use. I've owned this bow since I was in high school. We used to shoot targets with it, everything. I've probably put, I don't know how many arrows through it, but it's old. In fact, it's the brand, they don't even make this, Golden Eagle. I don't think that brand is even around anymore, but at the time I bought it, it was, you know, it was a decent bow. So we're going to convert it and put all this weird looking stuff on it, and I'm going to show you how in the video coming up, so enjoy. So the first thing we'll do is just go through the materials that I have for this setup. The guys told me, I asked them who makes the best bow fishing equipment, and they said hands down AMS, and I didn't know what AMS was. I looked it up, put my order in, and here we go. So I've got on the table, you can see this is the package that the Retriever Pro came in. I had to get this in a left-hand version, of course, for me. So make sure you check that box if you're a lefty. Here's the Retriever device. I'll kind of go through that a little bit later, but it's basically kind of a bottle canister. It's a little bit different than some of the other ones I've seen out there from like Muzzy and are more like a traditional fishing reel. The rest is important, so I went with their Tidal wave rest. I don't know, some guys use the whisker biscuits and things like that, or maybe they're better, I'm not sure, but this one seemed to make sense. It's got the roller on it because, you know, these fiberglass arrows are quite a bit heavier than your aluminum or your carbon fiber. You got some manuals, a couple decals, a mounting bracket, and the mounting plate, and a bag of hardware is all supplied in the kit. You'll need a few tools, not many, a couple Allen wrenches. You know, I got my trusty metric adjustable and a flathead screwdriver. And that's mostly to take apart what I have on the bow. So looking at this bow, I have some things that probably don't make any sense for bow fishing. One is the sight. I know some guys use sights. Maybe one pin or something like that. I think I'm just going to take it off because I really don't know what I need, to tell you the truth. I do have a Peep Sight on this bow, and I'm just going to keep it there because there's no point in wrecking my drawstring. I don't know if I'll ever convert this thing back to regular archery hunting or not. It's too old to be used like that. Maybe not. I don't know. The rest, this rest is an old rest, but you can see it's got felt tips and stuff that I tried to do to quiet it down, and I'm going to have to remove that to put on the tidal wave rest. This rest, by the way, is ambidextrous, so it works for lefties and righties. I actually had to write AMS a question about that because on the website it really didn't say that this one was. By looking at it, I thought it was, and it turns out it is. They do have another rest, it's just a roller, but it doesn't have this kind of capture clasp on top of it to make sure your arrow doesn't fly out if you're moving quickly. So first thing we do is strip down this bow, and for that just a couple Allen wrenches. I'm going to remove the sight bracket and this rest, and then we'll move on. I think I'll probably just keep the silencer whiskers on here. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense for bow fishing, but I don't know, I'll just keep them there. We'll see. So let's start by tearing down this rest. Get this off of here. I'll save that. I don't know, some guys shoot with a pin. Maybe I'll decide that I want to do that. Okay, once I have that apart, we can start assembling this. And I think the first thing I'll start with is this is the roller rest. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this loose for now. Alright, to install the tidal wave rest, just take the screw and set it through. This bow's got 2 mounting holes, most probably do. I'll choose the front. We're going to kind of keep it loose, just a little bit snug, but we have to, roughly adjust the height. So I'll take my arrow. I'm going to leave the case on it so I don't stab myself. So we'll knock up our arrow. And you can see this rest kind of has a little clip to kind of control your arrow. I imagine if you're in a boat and you're flying around, it'll keep it from, getting lost on you. So put it in there, and you can see the kind of the angle. We want a 90-degree angle roughly. Of course, we're going to tune that probably in the out in some water, but I think I can get it pretty close. I mean, it is bow fishing, so we're working at close range. Accuracy is maybe not the most important thing, but so let's slip down a little bit. We'll give it some more height there. It looks okay for now. Let me tighten that up. Alright, that looks pretty good. I do have this bow still set at probably about a 70-pound draw, so I will be changing that, of course, because everything will go right through. So I'll probably back it all the way down. I think this one goes down to, it calls 55 pounds is its lightest weight, which probably is way more than you need, I guess, but this is the bow I have, so that's what I'm using. So next step, we'll mount the retriever on here. So to mount the retriever, you have a little kit, that adapter plates that come with the kit. There's this spacer piece here to get it away from the bow. I think depending on how your bow is made, it probably will allow a little clearance on the mounting. I don't think I need that on this bow. It's pretty flat surface here. But this is the main mounting plate, and that's going to be placed there. So we'll work on that next. So taking the mounting plate, we're going to line it up here. From what I understand from looking at the book and some other videos, just want to have it flush. You could put it reverse, I guess, but that's going to kick it out probably too far, and it's not going to be quite right. So we're going to anchor it here, and you'll notice this little kind of T-slot that we have in here for the hardware, and that's going to actually hold this guy on here with this wing nut. So let's mount that up. So it turns out I did need that spacer plate underneath this mounting plate, and that's because this guy kind of humps up, and when you put the retriever on there, it's going to want to hit it, so I had to raise it up away from that rail a little bit, but no big deal. They send you a couple longer screws to do that, to go through the plate. That's that. So this is the other mounting plate. It's got this wing nut on it, and that rides in this guy. Whoop, that's not quite tight enough. I think these screws are a little bit too long. But there we go. Send them home. So this guy just mounts in here, and it makes everything goes together really easy with this system. Leave that loose for now, and the next thing to mount is the retriever itself, and this is real simple. Basically just mounts underneath this guy and slides in like this, and I still kind of hit right there on my rest, but I don't have that all the way adjusted out yet, so I think that post might go down some. So once that guy is in there, now we have it. Pretty good setup. This is the trigger guard, they call it, and this is to keep the string, the line, from getting behind the trigger here and when you shoot. So this guy was made for, most newer bows have holes down here you can kind of stick this through. Mine doesn't. Way down there, it's not going to reach, so I'll have to just kind of zip tie this guy on here. So we'll just tie this guy down with a zip tie for now. Give it a nice trim. Alright, so this can be removed quickly. Unfortunately, since I have it zip tied, it's not going to be as easy for me, but I think once I have it mounted, it's really not going to go anywhere. Probably just leave it that way. So I'll leave this guy on here like this, and that's the basic setup. It's pretty easy. Here's your trigger. You're going to reel, and I have to tie the line, but maybe I'll do that in a separate video, kind of show you how that works. But this is really heavy duty line, nylon line, cord really. So I don't think anything's going to break this. And here's your slide that goes on your arrow. They have it tied. There's a few different ways to tie it, and I'll have to choose the one that I want, I guess. But you can also knock up your arrow, or sorry, quiver the arrow right here to keep it out of the way of everything. And that kind of makes it nice. Kind of keep it all in one package like this. So the retriever reel is it's pretty neat design actually compared to some of the other ones I've seen out there. And the biggest thing I can see is the bail is always open. So no matter what, you can't forget to open the bail, shoot your arrow, and string's always going to come out of the container. And some of the other ones they work like fishing rods. If you don't open the bail, shoot your arrow, you're running filament line or something, you just lost your arrow. So I like this design because when you retrieve, you basically pull the trigger, and that trigger moves these wheels down into this rubber wheel, and that's basically a friction type setup. So as I reel in, it just fills the canister, and it's always free. So no matter what, I really can't shoot when the bail is closed. So I like that. I could see that being a problem otherwise. And I'll probably use a release. I have an old release for this bow. Maybe I'll try fingers. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to leave these Peep Sights in these for now. And it's kind of exciting, I've never done it before, and these guys have a great setup, so really can't wait to show everybody what that's about, and hopefully we'll be seeing some videos of some good bow fishing action. Even though right now we're in the middle of the summer, probably the good fishing was last spring, you know, during the spawn. And you know, primarily with bow fishing, of course, you're working with rough fish, so your carp, dogfish, gar, things like that. That's the only thing that's legal to shoot. I live here in Illinois, but they also go to Wisconsin, probably more so than Illinois. I'm not far from there, so this is kind of a neat thing for the channel, and maybe give bow fishing a try. See you later.